There, thank you for your patience. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. We're going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Sai and Sarahu and the young gentleman in the second row to come on up. They're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'm going to ask them to face the flag over here. Come over here, young guy. No, you can stop right here, girls. You know, it just demonstrates we have not choreographed this opportunity here. All right, ready? Anytime you're ready, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recording in progress.
Them to come up one more time, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance again, okay? Let's start. I thought we did a pretty good job. You know, it's the Olympics. I gave us an 8.5. Let's see if we can get a 9.5. So we're going to do one more time, okay? Face the flag. Oh, gosh, we got lots more kids. There you go.
Now they got 3.
All right. Ready?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's always amazing to me the number of firsts that I'm able to experience as our mayor. That's probably the first time in our history that we've ever done a redo of the Pledge of Allegiance. But again, anytime you have children involved in civic government, you want to make sure you leave them with such a positive message as to what government's all about, so that, years from now they remember. I was at a city council meeting and I had the opportunity to lead the pledge. And that's why government and participation is so important. And when we get them at a young age, we hang on to them, so congratulations to them. It's really my opportunity to commend the Maca Swag Dance Group. If I could have them come forward. And I want to introduce Vi and RK. See, they made it so simple for me. We're not only going to recognize the Maca, is it Maca or Matcha Swag Dance Group, but also these outstanding choreographers who dedicate their lives to inspiring young people in terms of understanding the importance of dance. But not only is it good for them physically, it's good for them mentally. They enjoy these opportunities, and we want to make sure that we recognize the Matcha Swag Dance, which was established under the leadership of these two fine individuals and has become one of the Bay Area's fastest growing Indian dance schools, now operating in 8 locations, including New Park Mall in Newark, and serving over 500 students. Whereas the Matcha Swag Dance specializes in high-energy dance, Indian dance styles, including, I'm going to let you help me out here.
That's Kutu. Kutu,
Folk, Bollywood, hip-hop. I understand hip-hop. Don't ask me to do it, but I do understand it. Bhangra?
Bhangra.
And Garba.
Yes.
Thank you. The school takes pride in creating an inclusive environment that supports children, adults, and families of all backgrounds. Matcha Swag Dance programs promote physical fitness, confidence, building, emotional well-being, and cultural education. Whereas in 2025, Matcha Swag Dance achieved several remarkable milestones, including leading 65 dancers in the Golden State Warriors NBA opening ceremonies. performing halftime shows for the Sacramento Kings and earning multiple first-place awards at the Festival of Globe competitions. Matcha Swag Dance has also collaborated with leading Indian artists and has been recognized by the Consulate General of India in San Francisco and various Bay Area media outlets for advancing Indian culture. And whereas Matcha Swag Dance continues to support the Newark community by offering accessible dance programs, youth development opportunities, and cultural showcases such as the annual year-end event, Peta Maha.
Peta Macha.
Peta Macha. And when is that scheduled for? Do you know at this point?
It's on May 23rd, 24th.
And it will be here locally?
It's in, we are still looking for the place.
Location?
actually,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, make sure you let us know.
Yes.
Because I know there's a lot of folks that are very much interested in your success, and they certainly may want to attend. So therefore, I, Michael Hannon, the mayor, on behalf of my colleagues, because it's my colleagues that support this as well, do want to thank you for for your dedication, community, and creativity, engagement in as cultural ambassadors for Newark and the Bay Area, and wish you continued success.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and award this to you. This is to the school.
Thank you.
And then, of course, because of your outstanding involvement, you're going to be recognized by the city as well.
Thank you.
Okay? Did you want to say a few words?
Yes. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all the City Council member. This is something huge. This evening, it's not just recognizing our journey. It's actually the community that supports businesses like ours, and also the culture and art that we spread across the community. So which is something huge, and we are extremely proud for this recognition and honored to be here. And thanks to all our MSD family. We were supposed to call all of them here. We would love to have our MSD family here, our parents, friends, and family for all their support. Sure. Without their support, especially the...
I'm going to ask my colleagues to come down and
Oh, that'll be
nice
great.
group photo.
Yes.
Okay, colleagues?
So, yeah, near. Thank you.
Listen, hey guys, just stand in front of the podium. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Colleagues, are you in? This is not an invitation to bring your pets.
Your front is all about you.
All right, we're gonna do a few. So 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, we're gonna do this one. Uabi. Perfect.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
It's a time of my day. It's a crazy day.
We have one more comment. Go ahead, my friend.
Record button. Phone la. Vanakkam, Namaskaram, and good evening for everybody here. Thank you, Mayor, City Council member, and everybody here. So I quit my IT job last year, I was earning really good in IT job, and I took a call to quit IT and join a dance school. So as a choreographer, I joined here. And the reason I did is it's my passion. And whenever I'm working in IT job also, my heart is always wanted to support my community and always to be like to help and to do something with dance. So with that, now I'm proudly can say that like we have around like 1,000 plus students in Bay Area in 8 locations, and city is recognizing this is one of the biggest honor for our dance school and for our students. So this is completely dedicated to our students, like everyone who ever supported in our journey. So thank you all my students. Thank you for that. And thank you, Mayor, always supporting, like whenever we need it, just like he's always there, like even if I text him at night, he's responding. So thank you, Mayor, for being so supportive for our dance school. And we are performing again in April 1st and April 5 for Golden State Warriors. We are doing halftime. And for Sacramento Kings, we are doing pre-game plus halftime. So there are again 100 plus dancers are performing in it. So we have like a lot of events coming up also. So thank you for everybody again. Thank you, City. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We'll take on group picture, you and me alone.
Sure.
Thanks again.
Sure. I know.
Actually, he's part of MSD. He comes to all the classes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next proclamation, and I'm going to ask Kayla Gupta, Maria Nunez, and Garrett Cordes to come up and join me, please. You know, this is really an important proclamation, and it's really near and dear to all of us in the Newark community. As many of you know, we lost our executive officer for the Chamber of Commerce tragically back in December at the age of 61. I don't know the actual cause of his passing, but I believe it probably was something like a heart attack, because he was in such great spirits the Thursday night when we did a meet and greet at a local hotel to welcome chamber members, and he was just shining that night and then passed away the next day. So I truly believe it must have been a heart attack, because it happened so suddenly. So it's so important for us to recognize our own health, because on any given day, we're all susceptible to tragedy, and our families are going to unfortunately have to suffer as a result of that. So it's my pleasure to issue Proclamation 1961 declaring February as American Heart Month. Whereas February is recognized nationally as American Heart Month, first established in 1964 to raise awareness about heart disease and promote cardiovascular health, whereas heart disease remains a leading cause of death in the United States, making prevention, education, and physical activity vital to community health, whereas regular walking has been shown to improve healthy hearts, reduce the risk of chronic disease, and support overall physical and mental well-being. Whereas Washington Health, the City of Union City, and the City of Newark share a commitment to equitable health and selfless opportunities that encourage healthy habits, whereas the Heart Smart Walking Challenge promotes physical activity, heart health education, and community connection. Whereas this program and partnership align with the City of Newark's mission to support public health, community connection, and long-term wellness. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, the mayor, on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council, do declare February American Heart Month and proudly recognize the City of Newark's first-time participation in the Heart Smart Walking Challenge with Washington Health and the City of Union City, encouraging residents to take steps toward a healthier community. So it's with great pleasure that I award this proclamation to you, and certainly want to learn a little bit more about the event coming up, I believe. There you go. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mayor Hannon. I also want to give a very big thank you to my colleagues from Newark and Union City in the back, Becca and Robert, for making this partnership a reality. You know, we complete our community health needs assessment every 3 years, and heart health has always been a concern for us in the Tri-City area. This program was built out of the results that we saw in that report, and it really is a way for us not to just talk the talk, but literally walk the walk and make a difference in the health of our residents, for our residents. I would like to invite you all to join us at our next Washington Health Walk. These run the first Wednesday of every month, where you can join us for a mile walk and learn some education as well. Our next walk will be on Wednesday, March 4th at 9 a.m. It will take place at Kennedy Park in Union City. And our topic will be heart-healthy nutrition. So I hope that you join us. You are all invited. If you log on to be part of the challenge, you can win prizes every month and connect to learn all about great walking locations and fitness tips along the way. So thank you for this amazing partnership.
Sure, let's go in the front.
Can we have Angus? Yeah.
Sure, come on up.
You're perfect. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yes, come on.
Thanks.
And we actually have some bags for little swag bags.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Nothing that we have to declare on our Form 700, by the way, I understand. Well, this is an opportunity for me to boast. Not that I'm ever shy about doing that. I have a golden lab and a golden retriever, and they both insist on a walk in the morning, individually, and a walk in the afternoon, individually. So I am now averaging 6 miles a day. You know, unfortunately, it's not showing where it should be showing, but, you know, there's no healthier thing that we can do, and it's so easy just to go out and walk. And not only is it physically good for you, but just for your mental health. You know, when you have a tough day, you know, and you go out and walk with your dog, if you have a dog, that dog doesn't think about anything other than, I want to go on my walk, you know, and it's a great opportunity. So the next proclamation that I'd like to issue, of course, is for Black History Month, and I'm going to invite Miss Jean Ficklin and Marion Langford to come up and join me, please. This is a Newark treasure, by the way, Jean Ficklin. She does.
She finds out, she says, can you pick me up?
It's my pleasure to issue proclamation number 1963 declaring this Black History Month. But before I do that, I just don't want to read the proclamation because there have been so many significant Black Americans throughout our history that have done amazing things. And, you know, we need to remember that. It's not something that we just simply celebrate because they are an important part of our community, but they have made such a significant difference in what makes America great today. And I know these names are commonplace to most folks, but, you know, when you look at politics, you know, our first Black American president, Barack Obama, you know, who thought that in our lifetime we would see a Black American be president of the United States, and we did see that, especially because some of us are old enough to remember the conflicts of the 60s and thought, when are we going to get to a day, and Martin Luther King talked about it all the time, about the character of the person and not the color of their skin. There's so many sports legends, so many science and innovation leaders, so many historical figures, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, going way back, Martin Luther King. You know, these are people that, Rosa Parks, who took the challenge. I understand what you're saying I can't do, but I believe I should be able to. That takes courage. It's like that happened in San Francisco or New York City, right? That happened in an area where they didn't feel that recognition. And she stood up and said, you know what? I need to be recognized for who I am, and I am deserving of the same right that everybody else deserves. So a big appreciation for all those great leaders and community members that we have had and that we continue to applaud. So in 1969, the idea of Black History Month was promoted by Black students and educators at Kent State University, followed by the first celebration of Black History Month on campus and local surroundings 1 year later. Whereas in 1976, President Gerald Ford praised Black History Month, urging all citizens to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Whereas Black History Month is celebrated to recognize and honor the contributions, achievements, and history of Black Americans who have often been overlooked and minimized in mainstream historical narratives. Whereas the 2026 Black History Month theme, A Century of Black History Commemoration, honors the significant achievements and contributions of Black Americans over the past century, reflecting on how these commemorations have shaped culture and identity. Now, therefore, I, Michael Hannon, proudly, on behalf of my entire City Council, proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in Newark and urge residents to celebrate and honor these profound contributions. We need to move in the right direction, and as we continue to recognize the contributions of anybody living in this great country, irrespective of their religion or their culture or their ethnicity or their whatever the case may be, just recognize their contributions. That's what will make us a great country. So it's with great honor that I present this to Ms. Ficklin for Black History Month and Ms. Langford. I'll let you go. Would you like to say a few words, Jean? Did you want to say a few words?
Yeah.
In fact, I think Jean has a birthday coming up, don't you, Jean?
Yes.
And what day is it, Jean?
March 4th.
March 4th, and you will be
95.
95 years young.
Good evening. We are very excited about this month, what we have been doing. And on Saturday, Valentine's Day, we will be at the George Silliman Center beginning at 12 noon, ending at 5 p.m. We have some exciting things that will be happening that day. So please accept the invitation.
We do. Thank you. Jean, can you get a picture in the front? Colleagues, you want to come down for a photo? This is worthy. City manager? Sure. That's okay. We welcome you back to Newark. New Mexico starts with new, so we're good. Everybody else? Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, we'll do this one. Hold this. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
I'll see you Saturday. I'll see you Saturday. Okay. My pleasure. I'll see you Saturday. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering, again, this is probably the safest room in the entire city of Newark because we have some of Newark's finest here tonight. And it's with great pleasure that I invite Captain Brian Simon to join me. Just remember, I grabbed the Tesla.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody go get that ticket.
I'm so honored that Brian had the opportunity to write his own script here. It's about a page and a half, so no, I'm just kidding. You know, we have such outstanding police officers. When I see and hear what happens across our country in terms of, defund police or do this with police, we've never heard that in our community. Our community recognizes that we are partnering with public safety because at the end of the day, when you call 911, your hope and expectation is that there's going to be somebody there quickly to address the concern that you are going to be raising. And our police department, and I think the chief told me this, they respond to every call. An officer will be at your home on every call. Now, it may not be in 5 minutes, maybe a half hour because of other priorities, but someone's going to be there. Because the relationship that this community has established with our police department is that important that they want to demonstrate your call was important to us, that we want to be here and hear what you have to say. Now, the issue may have been resolved, but they want to make that connection. And that's why when we survey our residents, our police department receives such glowing remarks and such high scores. And we don't rest on our laurels. We know that we work hard every day to continue that relationship and partnership with our community. And this gentleman here exemplifies that. He is an outstanding public servant. He loves the work that he does. He loves engaging all members of our community because, again, the role of public safety is education. Because once people understand the rules and things of that nature, they're going to take care of business and they're going to comply. But also understand there's going to be consequences. So if you do something that you shouldn't be doing, there's going to be a consequence. But he's going to do it so that there's a clear understanding as to why we're taking the action that we're taking. So I'm so honored that we continue to promote from within our own organization. Okay, we're building the bench. We don't have to look far for those officers that exemplify outstanding public service, and we promote them from within. We don't need to go outside our city to bring somebody in. We know where the talent is. It's in our own house, and we promote them accordingly. So Brian Simon was promoted to the rank of captain on December 29, 2025. Captain Simon brings 27 years of law enforcement experience, beginning his career with the Union City Police Department in September of 1998. After nearly a decade with Union City, he continued his service with the Oakland Police Department in 2008, later joining the Pleasanton Police Department in 2011. In January 2014, he began serving with the city of Newark as a lateral police officer. Captain Simon was promoted to sergeant in June of 2017, where he supervised a busy weekend patrol team and served as the frontline supervisor during multiple major critical incidents. He later oversaw the Newark Traffic Unit, where he played a key role in securing and managing more than $500,000 in Office of Traffic Safety grant funding, thereby strengthening the department's data-driven traffic safety and enforcement strategies. Our police department has had that opportunity many times. They recognize that there's a lot of competing departments within our own city organization looking to provide quality service and wanting those dollars. Our police department looks at grant opportunities outside the city of Newark, and when there's an opportunity to grab money, they're there to do that, and I appreciate that. Throughout his career, Captain Simon has demonstrated a broad organizational perspective through his leadership roles in patrol operations, traffic, crime analysis, SWAT, field training, use of force, internal affairs, policy development, and community engagement. As a lieutenant, he served as the tactical commander for the SWAT and crisis negotiation teams. While serving as acting captain, he led the department-wide technology modernization initiatives, including LEFTA, crossroads, collision reporting, electronic citations, firearm training systems, and patrol rifle replacement. His leadership in crime analysis and strategic deployment have supported effective crime reduction efforts while maintaining strong community trust. Now the most important part, a lifelong Newark resident. There we go. Captain Simon was born and raised in the community and has lived in Newark for more than 40 years. He graduated from Newark Memorial High School, holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice Administration. He's earned post-management level certification, completed numerous advanced leadership and supervisory courses, and graduated from the FBI National Academy class of 2096. His leadership philosophy is grounded in the 21st century policing principles and Newark's pride values, with a strong emphasis on accountability, officer wellness, innovation, and community engagement. Outside of work, Captain Simon enjoys spending time with his wife and children, riding a motorcycle, and camping. Let's hear for Captain Simon on a well-deserved promotion.
I don't know who wrote that, but that was pretty good. No, I'm good.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be wondering, the next item on the agenda is the Newark Unified School District presentation. And the reason I put this on the agenda, like many of my colleagues, I have the opportunity to watch the Newark Unified School District board meetings every time they do meet. Because when you think of community, the first thing that comes to your mind is the quality of your schools and the quality of education provided to our Newark residents and our students. And I do believe in Newark, we have some of the most outstanding teachers in our community who work hard every day to provide the quality education that our community demands. When you look at people that move into the community, one of the things that they look at is the quality of schools. And I really want to applaud both the superintendent, Ms. Fakar, and the assistant superintendent, Ms. Allard, because as I looked at that, as I heard that presentation about the test scores improving in the Newark schools, it really demonstrated to me that those teachers working hard in cooperation with the administration and parents really has started to turn the corner in terms of starting to see an uptick in the scores for our schools. So it's unusual for us to invite, representatives from the school district here, but I thought this is an important topic for the community to hear. And so I would like to invite Ms. Allard to come forward and give the same presentation that she gave to the school board, minus a couple of issues that really aren't relevant here tonight, and welcome you to our city council meeting. Let's hear from Ms. Allard, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. I'm excited to highlight the academic progress that took place across Newark Unified School District as we continue our collaborative efforts to close the opportunity gap in NUSD. These achievements would not have been possible without the dedication and hard work of district staff, site administrators, certificated and classified staff, and volunteers in our classrooms. Thanks to their unwavering commitment, I am proud to share a different narrative than in previous years. Last year, four key goals guided our efforts across the district. Aligned with our 3-year LCAP, these goals were widely recognized as a driving force behind our initiatives to improve student outcomes. In my presentation this evening, I will only be focusing on our first goal. Goal 1, increase academic achievement, our #1 priority. The SBAC measures student progress in alignment with the Common Core state standards for the subject of English language arts and math. Every spring, the SBAC is administered to students in grades 3 through 8 and in grade 11. There is also a California science test referred to as the CAST, or C-A-S-T, that is administered to students in grades 3, 5, and 8, and once during high school. I'm excited to share that for the first time since the 2015-2016 school year, Newark Unified made growth in all 3 administered assessments. There are 4 achievement levels on the SBAC. Level 1 represents students who do not meet grade level standard. And level 2 indicates students who are close or who nearly met grade level standard. In tonight's presentation, the shared results will indicate the percentage of students who met or exceeded grade level standards. Let's start with English language arts. It has been 7 years, not including the pandemic, as students were not tested, that 49% of our students met or exceeded standard for their grade level. It is also exciting to note that from 2023 to 2024 school year, we increased 5% from 44% to 49%. In math, since 2015-2016 school year, we have 39% of our students been or at above grade level. From the 23-24 school year to 24-25, we increased 3%, results that have not been, again, accomplished in over 7 years. And for science, we increased by 1% from 23-24 to 24-25, heading back in the right direction from the 21-22 school year when we achieved our highest results of 31%. This comparison slide shares results from the State of California, Alameda County, and NUSD in English language arts and math. The State of California are the top light blue bars. In the middle is the county, and NUSD are the darker blue bars at the bottom of the slide. For the State of California, 49% of students met or exceeded grade level standards in English language arts, the same for NUSD. For math, the State of California, 37% met or exceeded grade level standards, 2% lower than NUSD, as we achieved 39%. Again, the middle two bars represent Alameda County. The County of Alameda scored 56% in ELA, 7% higher than Newark Unified, and in math, 48%, 9% higher than our district. This provides us with a challenge that we are ready to tackle and working on this school year. Now, as you get to know me, there is a competitive side to me. So I reviewed some of our surrounding district results. While I didn't review all districts within Alameda County, for the ones I did take a look at, NUSD had the highest growth out of all of them. Some had 1% or 2% growth, others flatlined, and some declined. We are proud to highlight the outstanding achievements of various student performance groups. Our African American students demonstrated remarkable progress with 12% increase in English language arts and 6% increase in math. Hispanic students also showed strong gains, achieving 5% increase in ELA and a 4% increase in math. And additionally, white students made significant improvements with 11% rise in ELA and 3% increase in math. It is also important for us to highlight some individual site achievements, as there were many bright spots across our district. Notably, several sites have demonstrated significant growth, including Birch Grove Intermediate, Schilling, Lincoln, and Newark Middle School. For example, Lincoln saw a 13% increase in Hispanic student achievement, while Schilling experienced a 5% growth in English learners, the highest in the district. Additionally, Birch Grove Intermediate achieved a 6% overall gain in ELA, and Newark Middle School saw an 11% improvement in English language arts scores. These successes reflect the district's ongoing progress and commitment to student achievement. I also want to highlight our district's academic results on the California dashboard. The California dashboard was designed to move beyond simply looking at test scores to offer a more holistic view of student success, focusing on academic performance and school climate. Alameda County Office of Education provides school district with slides sharing California dashboard results from all districts. The left-hand side of the slide lists all districts in the county. Moving over to the right, results in English language arts by district are listed. Green indicates growth, red a decline. NUSD results are circled. As you can see, we had the highest results in English language arts with a 14.7-point increase, the highest in the county. For math, NUSD is circled in green. We had the 7th highest score out of the 18 districts in the county with an increase of 4.8 points. I'm going to skip these slides for a moment. Thank you for me allowing and celebrating our students' growth from last year. NUSD is in the midst of deep trailblazing work. For families who may be watching this evening, don't overlook us because we are outperforming the county in many areas. As a district, we will continue to take bold steps and build a generation of students who will reach their fullest potential and emerge stronger, more resilient, and equipped with the skills and mindsets to succeed, starting in transitional kindergarten and as high school graduates. Thank you, and this concludes my presentation.
Thank you for that. Are we taking questions, comments? Yes, Councilmember Little.
I just want to say thanks for coming out and showing this. This is really, really good information. This is one of the big things people are always asking us. Thank you, Tracy, for what you're doing, the hard work. And as a teacher myself, I know we have 2 teachers on City Council, and we both want to say thank you so much. And it's really nice to see the hard work. You never know until you see the work is showing like this. So thank you again for what you guys are doing. I really mean that. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Grindal.
I just want to echo the comments of my colleague. I want to echo the comments of my colleague. Really do appreciate you keeping us up to date, and I hope we can hear from you as you continue this growth and the quality education. So we want to be your partners in that. So we really appreciate you coming here and talking with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to, yes, Councilman Catancio.
Thank you, Ms. Allard. I really enjoyed your presentation, and I'm really appreciative of all the work that you're doing and all the work that the teachers are doing with the families as well. I did have a question regarding whether or not there's any plan for targeted intervention for specific grade levels if we see that that's really where we're not making the growth or where we really could use more assistance. Is there any plan for that?
Yes, data drives everything that we do in the district, as well as learning about every student's story in regards to why they have gaps in their education. So all sites do have some type of intervention taking place, whether it's at a different tier than what they are being able to accomplish, but that is a major focus so that we are closing those gaps so they can move forward in their learning.
Okay, thank you. I also did notice that there was a breakdown on race, but I didn't see Asian Pacific Islanders that were mentioned. Is there any particular reason?
I just chose several student performance groups. I could share that information with you as well, as I do have all of them.
Okay, I appreciate that. I did have one last question regarding the increase in the percentages, especially compared to other neighboring schools in other locations. Is there any anticipated belief that maybe we might see a change in rankings anytime soon with any of our campuses?
I'm not sure. I'd be optimistic and hope so, that with the growth that we're seeing, that we definitely should.
Okay, I think that would be perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And again, thank you for the presentation. And as we, the council, take a great interest in what's happening in our schools because it's an important part of our community, I will continue to invite the school district to come back and present information to us that I think is really an important opportunity to shine as to what's going on in our various schools. So again, thank you for coming tonight. Greatly appreciate your efforts. Ms. Fakar, greatly appreciate your efforts. And to all the teachers out there that may be watching, and keep up the good work. Know that you're appreciated for the hard work you do every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 5-minute break real quick. Public comment section. This is the opportunity for the public to address the City Council on any item that's not listed on the agenda. Public comments are generally limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Please note that the state law prohibits the City Council from acting on non-agenda items. So we may not be able to comment, but everything you have to say to us tonight under this section is important for us to hear. Is there anybody that would like to speak under the public comment section? Please come forward. Good evening.
Good evening. Peter Friedrich. In October, I stood at this lectern and told this council who the Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh is. The American arm of India's RSS paramilitary with 9 cells in Alameda County and a decade of proclamations and photo ops at your police department. I asked you to stop platforming them, and you have not. HSS is the overseas wing of a paramilitary whose members have carried out massacres of religious minorities, whose own guru called for India to model its treatment of minorities on Nazi Germany's, and whose ruling party's intelligence officer, the DOJ, has indicted for plotting an assassination on American soil a few years back. I told you that in October, and so tonight I'm here to show you where your proclamations go after they leave this room. The Nation magazine investigated the HSS proclamation operation in 2023 and found that across just 4 consecutive yogathons, HSS collected 439 proclamations, and that in most cases no one ran a background check on the organization, and that the group itself drafted the text. HSS writes the proclamation, walks it into City Hall, you sign it, they photograph the ceremony, and they carry that stack to the next city and the next city and the next city and say, look who already endorsed us. Every new signature makes the next one easier to get. Newark has been part of this operation for over a decade. Your signature is not a courtesy, it is a supply chain. And the supply chain does not stop at City Hall. It terminates in Sacramento. The Hindu American Foundation, HAF, operates alongside HSS and uses that wall of municipal endorsements to lobby at the state level. HAF walks into the Capitol carrying your name and the name of hundreds of cities that never asked a single question. And that is the legitimacy HAF was wearing when it led the campaign that killed Senate Bill 509 last year. SB 509 would have trained Californian law enforcement to recognize when a foreign government targets people on American soil. The DOJ had indicted that Indian intelligence officer for directing a murder-for-hire plot, for trying to assassinate someone in America for speaking out against the Indian government. The Police Chiefs Association endorsed the bill. The Senate passed it unanimously. The Assembly passed it unanimously. HAF killed it and celebrated the veto as, quote, a victory for civil rights of all Californians. The organization that benefits every time that Newark hands HSS a proclamation is the same organization that made sure your police department never receives that training. The 19th annual Yogathon ended 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, Solon, Ohio signed a proclamation using the same HSS drafted language. 3 Californian cities have rescinded their HSS proclamations after learning what I told you in October. Newark, however, is going on over a decade of continuing to issue such proclamations. Did this council sign another one during the Yogathon? And if not for the Yogathon, then for Raksha Bandhan, when HSS ties bracelets on your police officers and photographs it, or for Hindu Heritage Month. After what I told you 4 months ago, another signature is not a courtesy, it is a credential. And it does not stay in Newark, it travels to Sacramento, where it arms the organization that killed a law enforcement training bill, and it travels to Washington, where it arms the organization that a Sikh temple in Fremont, 4 miles from here, has asked the federal government to investigate under the Foreign Agents Registration Act, that organization being HAF. I stood here in October and showed you the names behind the proclamations. Tonight, I am showing you where the proclamations go. Your signature is not a formality. It is ammunition for these organizations. Please stop supplying it or own up to what it's being used for. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak under the public comment section? Thank you for those comments. The next item is our consent calendar. The consent calendar are considered to be routine and may be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless there's a request from a council member, staff member, or a member of the public to remove an item for separate discussion. Normally, I would ask if there's anyone that wants to speak to these items, but what I think I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to actually read the items so you know which items you can ask to be pulled and comment on. So the consent calendar is 1, approval of the audited demands, 2, the approval of the January 22, 2026 City Council minutes, 3, approval of the February 5, 2026 City Council minutes, 4, waive further reading and adopt an ordinance amending the contract between the City of Newark and the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System. 5, adopt a resolution approving an amendment to the contractual services agreement with M&S Engineers Incorporated for an additional on-call public works construction inspection services and amend the 2024-2026 biennial budget and capital improvement plan. 6, waive further reading and adopt an ordinance amending Title 17 of the Newark Municipal Code to amend Chapters 1726, 1726-040, accessory dwelling units generally affecting development standards for the constructions of accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and to amend Chapter 17.45 and 17.45.010 residential uses generally affecting the use classifications for accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units. Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak on any one of those items? Assistant City Manager, any item that you would like pulled to discuss?
Not this evening, Your Honor.
Great. Colleagues, any item you want pulled for discussion? No. May I get a motion to approve the consent calendar, please?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Jorgens, second by Councilmember Contancio. Please vote. That did pass unanimously. I saw the green lights. It passed unanimously 5-0. Boy, that was quick. That was probably me. Time to move on. Thank you, colleagues, for that.
Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newark authorizing amendment to the contract between the City of Newark and the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Newark amending Title 17 zoning of the Newark Municipal Code to amend Chapter 17.26, Section 17.26040, accessory dwelling units generally affecting development standards for the construction of accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, and to amend Chapter 17.45, Section 17.45.010 residential uses generally affecting the use classification for accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no public hearings tonight, so the next items are our other business informational report regarding playground design at Birch Grove, Mirabeau, and the Jerry Raber Ash Street Parks. Assistant City Manager.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, City Council members. As Council may recall, in November, staff provided a presentation that included introduction of 4 park playground replacement projects. At that meeting, Council requested that staff return to report on the outcome of the community input sought on the proposed playground amenities. City Engineer Mickey Sabuda is back tonight to provide you with that report and seek any additional feedback you may have on the proposed design features before staff solicits construction proposals, a process we will begin as soon as final feedback is received. You'll notice we have 2 reports tonight to allow for a council member recusal on the second item. I'd now like to introduce our city engineer, Mr. Mickey Sabuda.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Mickey Sabuda, City Engineer, and we are thrilled to be here. This is the first of 2 presentations to talk about 4 exciting playground replacement projects. So as mentioned, we're going to cover 3 of the projects: Birch Grove, Jerry Raber Ash, and Mirabeau Parks. The purpose of the presentation tonight has already been covered, is really to share community feedback that we heard about the proposed design for the 3 parks. If you haven't seen them yet, we're going to share that design with you, council members, and of course to receive council feedback. This is an informational item. There's no formal action, but again, we welcome any feedback council has. So for some project background, back in late 2024, City Council approved the Citywide Parks Master Plan update. This was a comprehensive, strategic, long-term document, involved extensive community engagement and outreach. There was a safety audit reviewing all the city parks, and it ultimately culminated in a comprehensive, prioritized list of projects. for the city council and for the city. Middle of last year, staff reviewed that list. We were in the process of planning for the upcoming 5-year capital improvement plan, which is a new process. Staff felt that we should probably expedite some projects, so we went through and we picked a handful of projects that we felt that we could achieve substantial work on or completion in the fiscal year before instead of waiting for the 5-year CIP to come. In October of 2025, we had a special city council meeting looking at amending the CIP to include these park projects. Also in October, we did get a special $1 million state funding from Senator Dr. Aisha Wahab to help pay for the Jerry Raber Ash Street Park Improvement Project, so that was fantastic. And in November, the amendments to the capital improvement plan were approved by City Council. And again, through that discussion, what we heard from City Council was to make sure to bring innovative designs for the parks, make sure they have different themes, make sure we engage the community to get feedback and come back to City Council with those results. Afterwards, I just want to note, we did go out and we did solicit various vendors to come up with different designs. We hired Verde Design Group. They're a professional civil engineering and landscape architecture firm to help us through this process, and they're currently helping us with the bidding process. I do want to give kudos to our entire communications and public engagement team. They were instrumental in helping us out in really outreaching and community, engaging the community on the proposed design. Some of you came to the tree lighting ceremony and saw the proposed design. We received a lot of good feedback at that event. You can see the posted sticky notes from commenters. We spoke to a lot of citizens and got their feedback. Again, thanks to the fantastic team behind me. We had a survey posted online. We posted the design on our website. We blasted a survey on our website. We hit social media. We hit Facebook, Nextdoor, Instagram. Invited people to provide their comments and their feedback on the design. We had A-frames posted at the parks so that people could use their phones and use QR codes to post their results. This was a fantastic effort. We got over 200 written comments from about 80 or so different commenters. To cut to the chase, the vast majority of the comments were very supportive and positive and excited about these upcoming projects. Off to the first project. So this is Birch Grove Park. I do want to say that in general, both the existing parks, playgrounds, as well as the new playgrounds, they're generally, the equipment and the playgrounds are generally catered to 2 different age groups. So you've got 2 to 5, and then you've got 5 to 12. So you may hear me speaking about the younger kids' playground and then the older kids' playground. That's what I'm referring to. So as example, the photo on the left, that's the playground for the younger kids. The photo on the right is the playground for the older kids at Birch Grove. The other thing I did want to note is that you may see, and I'm sure you are hearing about the need of improvements at park facilities that are beyond just the playgrounds. A good example, the photo on the left, you see the water play feature. The photo on the right, there's some additional benches that are needed. We're well aware of the other needs that we need at these parks beyond just the playgrounds. We know that restroom improvements and new restrooms are very high on the priority of the community. We are incorporating and looking into that as part of the upcoming CIP, but our focus is really just on the playground replacement tonight. So for the proposed design for Birch Grove for the younger kids, this is a Wildwood Forest theme taught playground. We have a variety of climbing structures. We got rock, tree, a giant frog to climb all over. We got stone steppers. We got bridges, climbing nets, toddler swing sets. And all our parks are going to showcase new rubberized flooring, safety flooring. So we're going to get rid of that bark mulch surfacing. For the older kids at Birch Grove, again, we've got a variety of great features. This is more of a daring geometric exploration theme. So we've got your standard swings, we've got ADA spinners and rockers and play cubes, and a couple different freestanding net and rope climbing facilities, different kinds of slides. And of course, we've got our new rubberized surfacing as well. The feedback that we got from Birch Grove, we received approximately 75 comments, written comments. Again, most were overall just positive comments about the design, really excited about the park. We did get some specific comments. People were excited about the swings, the climbing structures, and a common theme among all the commenters was that people provided comments about what they wanted to see at other parks, not necessarily at the park in question. So we did get a lot of comments about that. Second park, this is Jerry Raber Ash Street Park. This is on Enterprise next to the City Senior Center. Again, the photo on the left is the younger kids' playground. Photo on the right is for the older kids. One thing unique about this playground is we did get that $1 million state legislative grant. The original estimate for just the playground replacement was around $824,000. So hopefully we'll be able to do a lot of great things with that money. The proposed design for Jerry Raber Ash Street Park, this is unlike the angular geometry of Birch Grove. This is more focused on a dynamic, modern arches and curves. Again, we have a lot of dynamic curved climbing structures and steppers and swings. We've got tactile panels that are set at ADA heights. We've got spinners. We have acoustic stations out here so that kids can play drums and other devices. A great feature on this particular park is a new shading. And of course, we've got the rubberized flooring. This is another view of the proposed park and a close-up of some of the features. One thing I did want to mention about the additional funding, we do have and are placing bid alternates for other improvements that are needed at this park with additional funding. So fingers crossed that we get good bids from contractors, but the additional improvements include facilities like benches, bike racks, things like that, improvements to the trailway. There is a softball field at this park, so we're looking at possibly including a new clay infield with bases, backstop. There's an existing volleyball court at this park we're looking to refresh. And if there's still money left over, there might be an opportunity to install a bocce court or two as well. So again, we're including all those as bid alternates, and hopefully we'll get good contractor prices on this. We received about 35 written comments on this park. Again, most comments were positive about the overall design. A lot of people were excited about the shading. And again, we got the same list of suggestions for other parks. And then finally, Marabou Park. Photo on the left is the existing younger kids play structure, and the right is for the older kids. This park is located off of Haley and Marabou Drive. Let's see. This site was a little bit more challenging. It has a smaller footprint for the existing playgrounds, particularly the younger kids' playground. But this theme is looking for more of a futuristic angular geometry with a dash of futurism. We've got some exciting climbing structures for the older kids in the middle, and then we've got the younger kids on the right. We've got tactile facilities, swings, slides, all the fun features of a great modern park or playground. One thing unique about this particular project, the photo on the left, we are looking to install a new climbing boulder. This boulder is approximately 11 feet tall. It's not going to be in the playground per se. It'll be nearby across the trailway. So we're excited about installing this as well. This will be a fiberglass composite climbing structure. Received about 55 written comments on this particular park. Again, most were overall positive and excited about this new park. And playground, we did get comments about people excited about the rock climbing feature, the improved safety and flooring, the slides, spinners, and swings, and of course, suggestions for other parks. That concludes my first presentation. Next steps is for us to go out, bid, and hopefully come back to City Council with recommendation for construction award, and we welcome feedback.
Great. Thank you. Before I turn it over to the council for comments and questions, is there anybody in the audience who would like to comment on the presentation on the first three parks? Colleagues, questions, comments? Councilmember Contancio.
Thank you so much for your presentation. as well as your enthusiasm. I think that we're all really excited about parks, especially for families and kids. I did have a few questions. One was, how many parks does Newark have total?
Approximately 14.
So we have 14 parks, and then I noticed that you were mentioning for these 3 parks, you continued to mention that we have the rubber floor plan that's going to be different from the mulch. What's the lifespan of the rubber? Do we know? Like, just offhand, if you happen to know.
I don't have the exact time frame but we can find out for you.
Okay, I think that would be great. I think that it would be a nice improvement too for the students and children to have the rubber floor. I just was wondering, because I'm thinking about maintenance, especially because we're thinking about, we have 14 parks, we're focused right now on 3, which actually leads me to my other question. You were mentioning if there's extra money, then maybe we could do something else at those particular parks. What happens with the extra money? Like, would it specifically stay with those parks, or does it go back to the general fund? What happens?
With the exception of Jerry Raber Ash Street, the remaining parks are being funded by park impact fees. So to the extent that we don't use it, it just goes right back into the pot. So our goal is to maximize its use, and we will have several bid alternates in the event that we get low bids.
Okay, I think that'd be perfect. I did have one last question. I noticed that you were mentioning that when the community was interacting, that they also had suggestions for other parks. Do we also have a specific maintenance budgets that we could pull on to maintain the quality of the other parks?
Let's see, I believe that we do have maintenance budgets for the other parks. I don't know if are you asking if we can pull from those to pay for these projects?
Not necessarily. I guess what I'm thinking about is, I know today we're primarily focusing on those 3 parks, which I think is marvelous, and that's fantastic. I'm just thinking that you have 14 parks minus the 3, so then you have 11 other parks. And so when we're thinking about the community as a whole, I just want to make sure that we're also maintaining other parks as well.
Absolutely. And again, we are looking at the improvements at the other parks as part of the 5-year CIP. So I'm very excited. Hopefully in the next several months when we come back with the 5-year CIP, we'll have other park-related projects.
Okay, I think that'd be perfect. I think more specifically, I was also thinking Newark also has one of the parks, happens to have a lake there. So it could also mean to have a different dynamic for that particular park than maybe other parks also have different things too that need specific maintenance.
Understood.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah, I want to thank you for the presentation. It's clear that the result here is the result of a lot of work and a lot of community outreach that's been kind of folded straight into the project, and that's really clear. I think these projects are going to be great for the community. So I have no other feedback other than very well job done on this.
Thank you.
Councilmember Little.
So I have a couple quick questions. As some know, I'm a huge parks and recreation professor, so this is phenomenal. So thank you so much. Quick questions. So these parks, I know they all have different timelines, but when did we kind of start building the original parks? In the 20s, and the 30s, and the 80s?
Oh, geez.
1860s, just
at least 20 years old, at least 20 years ago.
Okay.
I don't have an exact date.
at least 20, though. Okay. And then when do we, I know this is a magical question, but when do we expect these to be done? 2026, 2027, 2078,
Our goal, again,
2092?
this is subject to council approval and no significant comments on changing design, and subject that we get great bids. Our plan is to come back to council this spring for recommendation for construction award, and then we would start constructing this summer. Our goal is to get this done this summer.
Awesome. That's what I want to hear. Awesome. Now I'm going to talk about the thing nobody wants to talk about, bathroom concerns. I know that there's been some requests for some restrooms, but at the same time, restrooms do bring a little bit of riffraff in, plus a lot more maintenance. What are we, I know that was part of the feedback that we got. What are we looking at doing?
Restrooms are actually identified as top priority in the Parks Master Plan, and we're looking at incorporating those as part of the 5-year CIP. So we are well aware of the restroom concerns.
Okay. And last but not least, how about, so I saw the climbing wall. I love it. But as a scout mom, I see liability craziness. What do we do for a bunch of kids jumping up and running up and falling down? kind of like Humpty Dumpty? What are we planning to do to bring it all back together?
Well, all our playgrounds are going to be inspected by certified playground safety inspectors before we open it to the public. And I do want to open this up as well, that even though it's not part of my job description, I fully intend to make sure that they are truly safe, and may have to test out several of the swings and the slides and other fun features. But for all the playgrounds, in addition to the rock wall, we are going to make sure that we have adequate fall protection. That rubberized flooring, there are very specific specifications for the thickness of the rubberized flooring. It's a function of the height. We'll make sure all that is installed.
Is the climbing wall open for all, or is it one of those things you have to like book a reservation or a permit to use the climbing walls?
The plan is to leave it open for all.
Okay. And one last question. This is to the mayor. Are we going to cash this check, or are we just going to leave it here for a while?
I'm gonna walk down to the bank tomorrow.
Okay, I'm just saying it's a really
Get a
big
picture of
check,
me just
literally.
walking down to the bank.
I mean, this is a really, really big check, so I think we should consider cashing it. So no, this is great, and honestly, I'm glad to hear we're talking this summer versus 2075 or 2092. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And the council did approve an item on consent, I believe it was last month, related to approving documentation so that we can effectuate cashing that check.
I did love City Attorney when Mickey is really asking us for, he's going to sign, I guess, a release of liability. Is that what he's going to do to ensure that he's not subject to any lawsuits as a result? Councilmember Grindal.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for an excellent presentation. Very informative, and really appreciate the work you've done to get community outreach and to get community input. It's very important to me. I'm sure the rest of the council as well. I do have one, and I don't want to get into too much detail, and I don't want to be delaying these projects by making major changes, but I do have one sort of concern, particularly with Birch Grove. There isn't much thematic connection between the small playground, the little kids playground, and the big kids playground. They seem to be almost two separate sort of themes. So I kind of would like to see a little more connection between the sort of forest that you had in the other, which is more geometric. So without throwing everything into a blender, I am concerned about there being a little more connection visually and architecturally between the small kids and the big kids playground. And that's true, I think, of all the play areas, but it really pops out at me when it comes to that one. So that's my only real issue. I do think that the rubberized ground has a better maintenance record than the cedar chips does, and it's certainly safer. So I'm glad to see that. And I noticed my last point is that I noticed in some of the pictures you have handicapped children using this. Are these playgrounds going to be magical bridge type playgrounds? Are they going to be available and thinking about the neurodivergent population and seeing if there's any way we can help them, or is that coming as another project?
Yes, the playgrounds will meet all ADA requirements. They will incorporate various types of the all-inclusive that, again, we'll talk about as part of the Newark community playground, but there are different elements that will be incorporated as part of the design.
Okay, thank you.
I think they're outstanding projects. Really appreciate the fine work that's gone in. The designs, the color schemes, I think are very attractive and will be certainly well received by the community. The splash pad, is there intent or hope that the splash pad will somehow be able to be utilized in the future?
Yes, the splash pad was identified as one of the priority projects as part of the Parks Master Plan.
Good. I know that we have quite a number of park plans for the future. I think if I recall in your staff report, there were like 37 different projects in the parks. Did I get that number correct?
Well, there are over 100 projects identified in the master plan.
Just as to on the parks?
Yes.
Okay. And what is our current budget as it relates to park amenities and improvements? What do we currently have in the budget?
Let's see, if my memory serves me, I believe we have somewhere between 7 to 8 million ballpark in parks impact fees. And again, that's a fluctuating number. It's fully subject and dependent on development activity. So if development activity picks up, we'll get more revenue.
And again, this may be a question for our finance director. How much do we annually receive as part of development fees for parks? Is that a number that's fairly stagnant in terms of the annual revenue that we receive?
That's highly 100% dependent on development. So it can be highly fluctual or dynamic.
Assistant City Manager, are there cities that have specific revenue sources other than developer fees that go to help pay for parks? And if so, is that something that we are going to consider as we move forward? Because as mentioned, we have quite a number of park improvements and amenities. And when you think of community parks, is always one of the things that most folks are concerned about because they're in the neighborhoods. Are we looking at maybe a revenue source simply to pay for park improvements in the near future?
We have not discussed a specific revenue source to be restricted to use for park projects. However, we are not limited to using the park impact fees for projects. So the other funds that we use to fund the capital improvement program, those that are not restricted funds can be used for park projects as well.
Are we aware of any city that have developed specific other revenue sources other than developer fees to help pay for park amenities? Are we aware of any other city that's been a little bit, okay?
Not aware, no.
Okay. Something maybe we need to consider. It's such an important topic for our community, and I think as mentioned by Councilmember Contancio, not only are we looking for park improvements, for park maintenance and things of that nature, and those all add up. And if we could come up with a strategy for a streamlined revenue source for simply our parks, that would certainly be something to consider. And maybe when we do our survey of our community residents in the future, we have our lighting and landscaping districts where money goes specifically for those purposes. Maybe we talk to the community about whether or not there would be support for a specific revenue source tied specifically to parks and see what kind of interest there might be in the community for something like that. Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Grindal.
And I apologize, I didn't ask this question before, and also you may not know the answer, and that's okay too. To what extent are the price of this work is going to be impacted by the tariffs that were in place? Do you have an idea of that, and would there be potential savings if the Supreme Court were to overrule the administration on tariffs?
It's unlikely that tariffs will impact the price of these projects. Most, if not all, the parts are made in the USA.
Thank you.
Good.
And to answer, I just Googled the typical life of park rubberized flooring is 10 to 15 years.
How many years?
10 to 15.
Now, were you Googling that during my thoughtful question?
No, I was not. Absolutely not.
Again, this is an informational item. Thank you very much. The next item is a presentation on the Newark Community Center. And as I understand, Councilmember Little will need to recuse herself due to a conflict of interest. Councilmember? This is when all the fun's going to begin. You know
I
that,
know,
right?
it's the park next to my house. That's the problem. That's why I have to recuse myself. So make sure to pitch it well, please. Newark Community Banner. So I do have to recuse myself because I do have real estate property leasehold within proximity of Community Park. That's where I walk my dog. So I do have to head out for this part. Thank you.
Assistant City Manager, do you want to make any preliminary comments?
No.
Okay, please.
Okay, great, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. It's great to still be here to present the second presentation. Again, this is the second of two presentations focused solely on the Newark Community Park. Same purpose, share community feedback, share the design, and of course, receive council feedback on this particular project. Same general background as well. This project is tied to the Citywide Parks Master Plan update, amendments to the CIP last year, and the approval of amendments to the CIP last year. There is one notable difference about this park compared to the other 3 parks. And I know we had discussion about salvaging or recognizing or appreciating the monster, which is the existing concrete sculpture in the small tot lot at this particular park. So we'll talk about that as part of this presentation. Again, same kudos to the entire communications and public engagement team for helping us out on the public engagement efforts for this park. It was tied with the other 3 park projects. Again, over 200 comments from 80 or so different commenters. And I did want to caveat, we do know that a lot of the people that wanted to comment either couldn't reach or couldn't write. So we know that a lot of the commenters were actually from parents interpreting on behalf of their children. So keep that in mind. So photos of the existing Newark Community Park. This is a photo of the older kids' playground. This is a photo of the younger kids' playground. You notice the monster is the sculpture on the left-hand side. One thing else to note is that the monster does take up roughly a third of the play area of the younger kids' playground area. This is the overall image of both play areas for the Newark Community Park. The theme is whimsical garden. And I had to look up whimsical on the internet. And what I found is that it's playfully fanciful in an appealing and amusing way. And I can vouch that this park design is truly playfully fanciful in an appealing and amusing way. We've got oversized dragons and rabbits and flowers and a very normal-sized monster that we've incorporated as part of this design. The concept of garden is also very important. When you think about like a community garden, it's a location where people of all ages, of all abilities get together, they gather, they socialize, they connect, they cultivate, and they grow. So that theme is very important as part of this design. Close-up of the park itself. Notice on the left, we talked to a vendor to see if they could do a customized replica of the monster head incorporated as part of the design. So we've got the monster head is attached to what we call cozy domes, a set of 3 cozy domes with custom tunnels connecting the two. I don't know if the image does it justice. These domes are massive. They're about 6 feet in diameter, about 3 feet in high. Unlike the existing monster on site, kids and adults, I guess, can climb on top and inside the monster and interact. But we have a whole range of fun and exciting features. If you look on the photo on the right, we've got spinners and slides and all sorts of fun things. I'll explain in more detail on the next slide here. So we've got some, we've got all sorts of crazy things going on here. We've got both standing accessible spinners. We've got sensory tunnels. We've got the dragonfly climbing structure. The photo on the right is for the older kids. This is actually a 3-story, extremely whimsical, multi-pathway, challenging climbing tower. It's got multiple slides. It's hard to see in this photo, but there's actually a mesh netting that goes from the ground, so you can actually crawl your way all the way up to the top. But there are multiple ways to get up to the top. You'll also notice that there are multiple slides, so depending on your fear of height, if you only want to go up 1 story, you can still slide down, 2 stories, slide down, or go all the way up to the top and be crazy and slide all the way down. Another view of, this is for the younger kids. So we've got play structures, spinners, we've got acoustic devices and drums and panels and balance beams. We've got sway gliders for ADA that are ADA accessible. On the far left, we've got a semi-secluded clubhouse with sensory activities inside. One thing I did want to note on this photo, if you look on the dark green patch that's underneath the rabbit, that's the rough footprint of the existing monster. So it gives you kind of a scale of where it exists. So as you look at, these are actual photos as opposed to renderings. The park's master plan did identify this park to be the best candidate for an all abilities playground based on programming. based on the available space, based on the future space for expansion. And all abilities, even though there's no legal or technical definition of what constitutes all abilities, in general, the concept is to create an all-inclusive, engaging, wide-ranging challenge to promote children of all physical, sensory, and cognitive abilities. And the goal is really to foster inclusion, empathy, and understanding. Again, this is all consistent with the growth theme of this particular park. So when you think about typical playgrounds, typical playgrounds do challenge kids and adults on their motor skills. So you've got a range of motor skills they challenge: upper body, lower body, core strength. There's fine motor skills, agility, flexibility, hand-eye and feet coordination. Those are all typical of a typical playground. This park in particular will also focus on a range of sensory systems that are engaged. So these are auditory, tactile, visual, and vestibular, which is space orientation and balance. So certainly there'll be many opportunities, as you can see, for kids to run, slide, swing, climb, yell, and have a lot of fun. But likewise, there's also opportunities for kids to seek comfort, calm. There's some cozy areas and solitude for both physical and cognitive rest. The playground design also challenges a range of cognitive abilities. So these are things like strategic thinking, problem solving, risk taking. The tower is a great example. It can challenge if you've got a little bit, if you're a little bit afraid of heights, you can go up a little bit and slide down the first slide. Again, you can challenge yourself all the way to the top. And ultimately, the goal is to really expand on the range of social skills. So this is how kids interact with other kids of different abilities. So this is really to promote cooperation, imaginative play, social skills development. The best example that I could think of is, I don't know if there are any Disneyland fans up at the dais. I'm a huge Disney fan. I would argue that one of the best rides at Disney is, in fact, the teacups. If you're like dealing with kids that I do on a regular basis and you're tired of dealing with kids, it's certainly fun to ride in a teacup by yourself, having it spin you around. For me, it's very therapeutic and calming. But there's a whole different experience, certainly more entertaining experience if you can see how many of your kids, your adult kids, you can cram into a teacup and see how fast they can spin the teacup, because it's just a lot of fun. So likewise here at this park, we've got all sorts of spinners and sliders and exciting things that involve interaction. So certainly it's fun to, for example, to play drums by yourself, but it's also more entertaining and interesting when you play drums with other kids. The cozy dome photo on the bottom, it's certainly fun. I'm sure it would be fun to climb on top of one of these cozy domes, but imagine interacting with kids or maybe even adults inside in the dome itself. On this particular project, we received about 55 written comments. Again, most were positive about the overall design. People were excited about the slides, the spinners, the floorings, the swings, incorporation of the large animals into the design. And I will have to note that what I've highlighted are the bulk of the comments that we got, but we did get a small handful of commenters. I believe one family provided multiple comments to save the monster. So I want to make sure I shared that as well. And that concludes this presentation. Again, I welcome council feedback.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to comment on the presentation? I'll start to my left. Councilor Grindal.
Thank you. I like the animals too. I like a lot of those comments. I am critical of the monster. I don't think that the way it's been sort of there's a reflection of it in this thing. I don't think it really truly honors what the monster is about. I think it's almost, I'm trying to think of the right word, but it's almost mocking it in a way. So I'm not a fan of that approach. I understand what you're trying to get to, what your architects are trying to get to, but I honestly think we could do better. I'd frankly rather see it digitized and be able to recreate it at some point, even with private donations or something along those lines, rather than this attempt. Frankly, I personally would rather just ignore it altogether than to do it sort of in such a weak way. So sorry to be blunt, but I do think that it's sort of a miss. Otherwise, the design looks beautiful, and I agree. There's a bunch of stuff going on there. Sounds like it'd be something for every child. So I'm excited about that. But I do think that we could take another shot at how we address the monster. Thank you.
This side, Councilmember Contancio.
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. I actually really like the idea of the inclusivity of, it's not like a separate park to say, well, this is the park for all abilities and here's the park for others. Like, I like the fact that it's incorporating everyone into one space and one social spot. And so I think that's really important to celebrate diversity and inclusivity. Additionally, I like how you're mentioning that there's also the 3-story climbing tower, and so you see the progression of the children from one age group to the next, and it still stays within a theme. I'm actually a proponent of the monster footprint, and so I realize we can't save the monster from its doom, and that it's inevitable that we just cannot have the monster that's currently there. And so at the very least, I like the idea that you've already incorporated an idea of the footprint. Specifically to the current monster design and the architects that are working with you, I think that it's perhaps still a work in progress at this particular point, only because as a teacher and educator, I'm thinking like this is 6 foot tall, it's kind of enclosed in a way. People are going to be on top of it and underneath it or inside it. I'm a little bit concerned about the cleanliness of it, or if people are gonna, or children sometimes want to climb, not because they're supposed to, but just because they're curious, and they might be climbing on the interior of it while other children are climbing on the exterior of it. So it might be dangerous in that way. But I'm sure that you're working directly with architects, and I'm sure that I'm gonna leave it to your discretion with that particular piece of it, but I'm just thinking out loud. But overall, I did have one question about the numeric capacity of the structure itself. Like, is there a limit of how many children about can use it at one given time?
I don't have an exact number, but we'll make sure there's adequate signage noting the maximum capacity.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Can you go ahead and pull up that slide just so that, as Councilmember made reference to, we can see what that looks like in terms of the monster substitute?
Oh, the monster substitute.
There you go. Good. Councilmember, Vice Mayor Jorgens.
Yeah, I think like to kind of echo a lot of my comments on the other parks. This is a job very well done. Really seems like there was a real effort to fold in all the community comment that shows. On the monster, I do like the idea of kind of recreating it, even if it's a little different. But as a work in progress to navigate some of the challenges here, I do think whether it's a recreation of a monster in some way or kind of a different large animal that we decide to go with, I do think we shouldn't call it like Newark Monster 2 or something. We should encourage staff come up with a new name for it. Let's have something exciting for something new. So whatever we do end up with in that space, let's make sure it's it is its own thing. If it wants to call back to something old, but let's make sure it's its own thing as well. And then maybe doing something kind of honoring the original Newark Monster is maybe something the Public Art Committee can take up once they get rolling.
I'll agree with my Councilmember Contancio. I like the fact that the park is just one park. Because currently, as you know, we have the small kids park and all small kids, like small dogs, they want to go play with the big kids. So it's nice that this is all inclusive for all the kids to be able to enjoy. I do like the footprint for the monster. This is where it used to be. I kind of like that idea. Whether we keep this design or come up with something different. I love the rabbit. I love the wasp. You know, I'd be okay with just coming up with an entirely different animal if need be, and I'm okay with that. This park's been around a long time. My kids are in their 40s going on, and they've been playing at this park, you know, since they were little. You know, the little rock caves that my kids used to bump their heads into all the time. You know, we'll certainly see those. Hate to see those go. All the kids running across the rocks at the top, waiting for any one of them to fall at any given moment. This is certainly going to be a much safer park for the kids, and I think for the parents are going to appreciate that as well. So I have no real comments other than what I mentioned already. I would like to see us as the as the assistant city manager knows, I would like to see somehow that we preserve some portion of the monster snake, whatever we want to call it, because it's really part of our history. You know, once you get rid of part of your history, it's gone forever. And whether we put that in, you know, we remove part of it, you know, the head, for example, and we put it in a library, put it in the city hall, and we put a rope around it to kind of identify what is this and why is it here. I think that's what makes, you know, Newark unique. It's just simply an appreciation for our history. And I'll certainly leave it to your creativity to figure out how that's going to happen. So I know that there are going to be some challenges, and I know there's been some discussions about, you know, coming up with a mock, you know, kind of serpent head, you know, because we may not be able to remove this concrete or separate the concrete. I'm certainly open to any of those ideas, and I look for your creativity coming back to the council in terms of suggestions you might have in that regard. Other questions or comments?
I was calling it a worm. We shouldn't call it a worm. Monster and snake are much better.
Worm.
If I may interject.
Now with my IT director here, right? We don't want to be calling it a worm, right? Yes.
If I might, one of the options we are looking at and considering and listening to council feedback, if council does not like the design of the Monster 2.0, we can certainly remove it and put back in standard play items. One of the things we're looking at is possibly having an item for the contractor to take the existing monster and relocating it. We may have to cut it up in pieces, but literally relocating it at another location within the park itself. Mm-hmm. So we can certainly include that as a bid alternate and come back to council with either that or other recommendations.
Great.
In order to keep this project moving forward.
Great, and I want it to move forward. I don't want my suggestion or colleagues' suggestions regarding the importance of preserving that feature to hold up this. I want this to move forward. And whether or not you go with this current Monster 2.0 or something as mentioned by, I think, Councilmember Grindal, just a completely different animal. I mean, I love the rabbit, I love the wasp. Maybe there's another animal out there that would serve the same purpose. Not a worm. So I'm not wedded to any of those. Use your creativity. I think they're, you know, it could be a bee, it could be a lion, it could be whatever you want it to be. It could be anything. So I would be okay with that as an alternative. Other questions? Yes, Councilmember Grindal.
I just wanted to say I'm happy to see you're thinking about a bid alternate process, because potentially, I mean, I wonder if it's possible, if whatever that comes out, that the community could actually fundraise directly if we wanted to do something between the Rotary clubs and the Optimist clubs and the community in general. Maybe there's a way for us to sort of augment the funding to make that happen. So by putting it in as an alternate, we'll find out what the damage would be, whether that's something we would want to think about. So I applaud you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as to that bid alternative, again, break it into segments. You know, the entire monster, worm, whatever we want to call it, is this. If we simply separate the head because it's important for the community to at least be able to identify with it, that's this. You know, come up with options. I think that would be fine with us. Yes, Councilmember Contancio.
Thank you. I also did want to comment, because in thinking of what you're stating now as this alternative idea of preserving the monster head or a portion thereof of the body, I think that would be really helpful for the community. I know that when I was younger, I used to play on the monster. As I grew up and got older in the community, then I had my own family, and then my child's playing on the monster. And eventually, you know, do feel that community members do have this connection and they remember it. And so if we could find an alternative way to preserve it rather than have the 2.0, it might be okay as well.
Okay, understood.
Great. Okay, this is an informational item. Thank you for the hard work.
Thank you.
We're excited about this moving forward. Thank you. Yes. I think I did. I asked for public comment at the beginning. Was there any public comment on any of the items on the parks? Thank you. Man. All right. Thank you for that presentation. Parks are important to our community. City Manager reports. City Manager Hovorka.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a few exciting things to share with you this evening. First, we'd like to congratulate one of our recreation coordinators, Danielle Cranon-Jones. She's been selected as an honoree for Assemblymember Alex Lee's Black History Month celebration this Saturday, which is occurring just before the event we discussed earlier this evening that Gene Ficklin's group will be hosting. So that's from 10 to 11:30 a.m. at the Emmanuel Baptist Church in San Jose. And we want to congratulate Danielle for all the great work she's done in our community, including in our schools, as well as the Juneteenth event that the city now hosts annually. Next, we have a Lunar New Year celebration. This is hosted by the library, and it will be held at the Silliman Center, so we are a co-sponsor as the city. It's from 12:30 to 3:30 on Sunday, February 2nd, and we are inviting all of the community out to celebrate. It is a free event that is open to everyone. There'll be nonstop music, dance, and cultural performances, as well as cultural arts. Oops, excuse me. And next is the Black History Month program that Ms. Ficklin invited us all to earlier this evening. Again, that is this Saturday, February 14th, starting at noon, also at the Silliman Center, and another free open to all. There will be food available for purchase as well as vendors, and there are timed events at 12:30 and 2:30, and that is seating to hear those guest speakers. And then finally, I would like to share with you how proud we are to once again have earned an AA+ rating from Fitch, one of the top credit rating agencies in the country. In addition, the city's outlook was upgraded from stable to positive. A variety of factors go into this rating, and what it tells banks and investors is that our city manages its money responsibly, pays its bills on time, and plans carefully for the future. Because of this strong grade, we can borrow money at lower interest rates for major projects like roads, public safety facilities, and infrastructure improvements, which ultimately saves our taxpayers money. This AA+ rating reflects disciplined budgeting and financial practices, healthy reserves, and steady leadership. It's great news for our city today and also for our long-term financial future. I'd like to commend our staff, and in particular our finance director, Kristen Lee, and her team for the tremendous work that they do to ensure the city's financial resiliency. We will be sharing this information with our community as well, and that is all I have this evening.
That's such an important recognition. We read about other cities that are struggling with their budgets and what services may need to be cut and what programs need to be cut and what staffing may need to be cut. We're not in that situation. We historically have had somewhat of a conservative budget, but that allows us to get these ratings and be able to provide the fiduciary responsibility that our citizens expect from us. So congratulations, City Manager, Ms. Lee, congratulations, job well done. Councilor Little, council comments.
Well, I just want to let you guys know it's just going to be the 3rd annual Mission Peak Yo-Yo Day. I know everyone's excited. I see everyone's faces ready to go get their yo-yos out, dust off a little bit, and get going. This is being sponsored by Dunkin' Yo-Yos, myself, and Scouting America, as well as the First Presbyterian Church, where it's going to be at Newark. It's a free event. Come out. And we are having the San Francisco Spin Doctors come out, which is the professional yo-yo league. They're going to be coming out. They compete in regionals, nationals, and international levels. I'm trying to get in Ian Smith. He's won 3 out of 5 awards nationally in his yo-yo tricks. So he gets fed on pizza and drinks. So that's what I'm going to do to get him over here. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Please invite everybody to come out. We'll have a couple of yo-yos for sale. We will have some kits that are being, brought by Duncan. We'll have individual butterfly yo-yos. But yeah, come on out and learn how to do more than just walk the dog. You'll have a really good time. And of course, this is part of my big goal that I'm working on, which is getting kids off electronics and coming back outside and doing fun stuff. So let's get out and do some fun tricks.
And that date?
The date is, thank you for asking, it's going to be Saturday, February 28th. It's not going to conflict Julie's event. Don't worry, I got you. It's going to be from 2 to 5 o'clock at the First Presbyterian Church. We're hoping to do it outside in the grass because yo-yoists, when they fall on the ground, they don't want their yo-yos to break. So,
gotcha. Excellent. Looking forward to it. Councilmember Grindal.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to be having my monthly Coffee with a Council Member meeting on Saturday the 21st at 10:30 a.m. at the Starbucks at Four Corners. That's at 35040 Newark Boulevard. So anybody who wants to come out and just say hello and have a casual conversation or an intense one, come on out. Yes, bring your yo-yo. Show me what you learned on that. Well, no, actually, that's going to be after. So sorry, we'll do that next month. Thanks.
Councilmember Contancio.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. On February 28th, which is Saturday, from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I'm going to be doing Lunar New Year jointly with Senator Dr. Aisha Wahab and Assessor's Office. We're going to have, it's free for all, the line dance, drums, and Ernie Reyes Karate is going to come out to do a demonstration as well. And the reason why Lunar New Year is such a special time, especially for many individuals who celebrate it worldwide, as we know, is really when we think about the rotation of the animals, we're always thinking, well, there's 12 animals, so we're going to see the same thing like every 12 years. But actually, it's every 60 years because there's an element that, that we have that cycles every 2 years. So you have the same element every 2 years. So that's 10 years on a rotation for the element compared, and then combined with the animal itself. So this year is going to be the fire horse is what we're celebrating, and that doesn't come up again for another 60 years, okay? And so when we also really think about our community, I just want to put it out there that everyone's welcome to come to this event. And of course, just as Ms. Little has said as well, to also to go to Ms. Little's event, Councilmember Little's event, directly after. So I think we also want to promote both events, as well as I know that the city has another Lunar New Year event the week prior, and I will be in attendance of that as well. Over the weekend, I also went to East Bay Realtors annual gala, which was a very positive event with other community leaders. And also the Filipino National Historic Society is asking for photos from anyone in the Bay Area from 1920s to the 1980s for their second history book that they're working on. So if you do have any photos from the Bay Area, they're asking for everyone to please send those in. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Vice Member Jorgens.
Yeah, so I will continue to share some stories from Newark history to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the founding of the town of Newark in 1876. And we talked a lot about, some plans for our recreation spaces today, so I thought it would be good to talk about one of Newark's first of such places, which is Swiss Park. But to go back, so in 1876, when Newark was founded, one of the bigger industries was a dairy on the Mayhew Ranch, which stretched from about Jarvis Road to about Thornton Avenue. And they had 500 cows. They were looking to grow their operation. And owners started to engage with Swiss immigrants who I guess had a reputation for expertise in milk and cheese production. I guess that was correct, because from that start, the Swiss community in Newark grew in 1925, came together to form the social organization called Alepper Group. And in 1935, under the leadership of Ben Inderbitzen, they built Swiss Park. Swiss Park served as a place that held the Schwingfest dances, wrestling matches, and traditional Swiss dinners. You know, Newark's always prioritized having great places to gather as a community, and there's few better examples of that than the Swiss community coming together, calling Newark home, and building Swiss Park, which is, you know, essential to the fabric of the Newark community over the past 91 years. And I'm glad we're able to continue in that tradition a little bit and aspiring to build, you know, high quality recreation spaces for our residents.
Why am I fearful that at some point the Vice Mayor is going to quiz us on the information that he's passing on to us to find out which one of us have or have not been paying attention? So let's remember Valentine's Day is this Saturday. Let's make sure that that's one of the, those of us that have been married a long time, you know, every day is Valentine's Day. You know, we certainly recognize that. My wife did not ask me to say that. It's actually true. So let's remember those folks that are meaningful in our lives. It could be our spouses, it could be our children, it could be our parents. You know, let's take that opportunity to recognize them. Had an opportunity to attend last week. The high school had a listening session where the kids got together and talked about some of the issues going on nationally. And I really got to tell you, I was really impressed with how articulate and how smart these kids are to be able to explain and identify how these issues that are going on nationally are important to them and how they affect them and their families. I think our leadership in this community is strong when I listen to these kids talk about these impacts. So real credit to the Newark High School students for being engaged, understanding the issues that we and they confront on a daily basis, and taking the opportunity to participate. And again, there's no more important reason to encourage our young people to remain active, and certainly encourage them to vote, because that's how their message is heard. Thank you to my colleagues for the events that they're planning in the near future. I certainly am grateful to hear from my colleagues on any event that goes on in our community, because I think it's our responsibility to attend those functions to not only support our colleagues, but to show our community that whether it's a religious festival event or just a fun event, that we're there to support our community in a variety of different ways. I know they appreciate seeing us at these events, and I know that we've all taken an active interest in attending. So with that being said, unless there's anything further, this meeting is adjourned.